Let's bring in Eric Deggans, media analyst and professor of journalism at Washington and Lee University. Eric, it's troubling, I think, to say the least, a third of the Washington Post staff that is losing their jobs today. Many overseas correspondents. We're talking about Pulitzer Award-winning reporters as well. Your reaction to, again, finally getting the news and seeing the names that are on this list today?
Well, of course, it is sobering and saddening to see so many great journalists lose their jobs. And since they're cutting a third of their staff across all departments, it's not just journalists that are losing their jobs, it's people in other departments as well. They sent a small contingent of reporters to the Olympics, and those reporters went knowing that they would most likely not have jobs waiting for them when they came back, which seems to be the case. And the thing that makes it saddest of all, I think, is there's a sense that it did not have to be this way, that there were business decisions that were made, there were decisions made about content that drove subscribers away, that drove talented contributors away. They lost hundreds of thousands of subscribers when owner Jeff Bezos kept the editorial board from issuing its planned endorsement of Kamala Harris in the last presidential race. And I don't think the newspaper has ever recovered from that. And while we're seeing these stories about layoffs at the Washington Post, its competitor, the New York Times, has announced that it has a record number of digital subscribers, up to 13 million. They're making profits. So if a paper and an organization like the New York Times can make money in this media economy, why is the Washington Post laying off 30% of its staff? It indicates that there's more going on here than just problems with media and the media sector. There seems to be a problem in leadership.
Yeah, and it feels troubling too, and that leadership issue that you talked about, some saying that Bezos, at least for now, because of how critical the Post has been of Donald Trump and his administration, that he's trying to at least cater to the president in this. Again, do you believe that some of these cuts might be along those lines?
Well, I don't know if the cuts are along those lines. I don't know that there's a sense that Jeff Bezos is that engaged in the running of the actual newsroom. But I think there's a sense that he's installed people at the paper, including the publisher and the current editor and the opinion editor, who have gotten their marching orders. And in particular, the publisher and the head of the opinion section seem to be friendly towards the Trump administration. And beyond that, they've just made business decisions that don't make sense. Jeff Bezos did sort of dictate that the opinion section would change its emphasis to focus on these sort of libertarian ideas, and it wound up creating a gigantic exodus of really great opinion writers that were working in that department. Mm-hmm. And so, fans of traditional journalism who were reading the paper, who were coming to the paper for the work of those talented individuals, suddenly they don't have a reason to read the paper anymore. And instead of figuring out a way to reverse that and bring back talented people who have fled to the Atlantic or to the New York Times or to other platforms, they've doubled down on it, and they've laid off even more people. And so what reason does the audience who's reading the paper now and who enjoyed its ambitious coverage, what reason do they have to read it now? Mm-hmm. It's baffling to me. It's not a decision that seems to make any sense given the success of competitors like the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times. And it doesn't make any sense given the recent history at the paper. So I'm baffled as to what they think they're going to accomplish with this other than alienating a subscriber base that has already shown it doesn't like a lot of the changes that they've made.
Yeah, and certainly devastating for such a historic publication. Eric Deggans, media analyst and professor of journalism at Washington and Lee University. Thank you for your time today, sir. Appreciate this.
Thank you.